Welcome, everyone, to our discussion about perceptions. Welcome, Joe. Why do you think we're talking about perceptions today?
Well, I think it's a good thing to bring to everyone's attention because sometimes we assume a lot, and it can wreck friendships, opportunities, many things in our lives where if we just asked more questions and didn't assume, life could be so much better.
I agree. An assumption is, and perceptions are something that our mind can create from Chinese whispers that we've heard. And our mind is very good at blowing things out of proportion. And
Yes.
if we don't understand what context things might have been said in or a message was delivered in, the mind just goes boom, you're attacking me, whatever it might be. So it's really interesting that we're having this discussion about perceptions and assumptions because they really can be detrimental to everyday life.
Very much so. There was a big one the other day. So there was a mum. So my daughter Lexi started uni, and we weren't sure which line Lexi should be in. So there was two lines. So I said to Lexi, "I'll wait in this line." So because it was pretty busy on O day, orientation day, and you go to the line we think you should be, but I'll wait here in
Just in
case.
case.
Yeah. So the lady behind me, I've turned around to look. So there's a lady with two kids, right? So I thought she must be checking in one of the two kids. So as I'm standing there, the lady goes, "Oh, I'm really nervous." And the daughter goes, "Mum, you've wanted to do this all your life and now's your time." So my assumption was she was checking in her two children, but in actual fact, her two children were checking her in to uni.
How good is that? But see, that's exactly right. How wrong was our assumption and
Yeah,
how, easily we can go down that line that this is what's happening and we think we know, but quite clearly we're not knowing. And until you got more evidence, and I've read this amazing book, Joe. I don't know if you've ever seen it, The Course in Miracles, right? There's a whole
yes,
chapter in here on perceptions and assumptions. And it says a perception is a piece of information that we cannot trust until we have more evidence to either confirm or deny the information that we currently have. So a perception is an idea. Let's call it that. It's an idea that this is what's happening, but it's not the
yeah,
reality. And that's so what you've done is and we all do it. We're all guilty. We've made an
yeah,
assumption that she's checking in her kids because that's what you're there to do, checking in your daughter. In fact, it was the children checking in mum to do something she'd always wanted to do. And see how easy it is for the mind to slip up?
yeah,
Happens
absolutely. And
happens every day.
yeah, so I think it's also about, you know, sometimes we can perceive that life can be too hard, we've missed the boat, all these things, and then we just talk ourselves out of things, and we don't want to do that, especially in 2026. So I want you to not assume, "Oh, I'm too old for that, I can't do that," because that lady definitely didn't. She's starting her degree.
Good on
But it's
her.
yeah, but it's easy for us to do that to ourselves, even and cut ourselves off for opportunities that could be in our lives. So
And
I
I
want you
think
to question yourself more.
I agree, Joe. And I think that's the thing. Questioning is key. Questioning, like if you've heard something on a grapevine, go directly to the source. Was this said? Was this discussed? That way you've got the information or you know what the
Yeah.
context was that might have rose that, the conversation in the first place. Or if you're looking to do something, I'm too old. No, you're not, because you might find if you go to a university, yeah, we have open age. You can just do it as you want. Or, you want to go and learn how to paddle a boat. Yeah, but we take all people. Do you know what I mean? All disabilities or whatever it might be. So don't cross off those bridges until you've done your research and gathered all of your information to either make that assumption true or you make that assumption false. So then that way you can have a true overview of what's actually real and what's not real.
Yeah. And I think also we, as humans, we don't ask people enough questions. So you just assume by their body language of what their thoughts are. So, sometimes there was a lady that I used to see a lot, and I thought, she doesn't like me because she would just say hi and then no, push her eyes down. And I thought, oh, she doesn't really like me. So this went on for years, like really, because it was, within my daughter's team. But really, she was just incredibly shy. And because I'm loud and chatty, she thought I would want to talk to her.
Isn't it funny? It's so
Yeah.
funny. And that's why I think what the key to assumptions and the key to perceptions is communication,
Yes.
opening up a dialogue of, okay, if yeah, I mean, it's interesting that that's how it played out, but it might have been a conversation. Have I upset you somehow? It's like, oh no, no, no. I just didn't think you might want
Yeah.
to speak to me. You're a bigger personality, and I'm a quiet person, so I've just, hello, kept going, and
Yeah.
that's where the communication comes in. Now, communication comes in many forms. It's asking questions. But
Yes.
sometimes I find, Joe, I don't know, have you found this too? Sometimes people still dance around the situation. They won't ask the direct question. And sometimes it's got to be uncomfortable to ask a direct question. You can start dancing if you want to dance, but then sooner or later you're going to have to come in for, did you actually say this? Or when you said that comment, how did you mean it? What was the context? That type of stuff. Just to give you clarification so that you can then sort, that's why it was said. That's what the intention was when it was said. I can dismiss it. Or I
Mm.
can, get angry about it, whatever it might be. But that's where you get the wisdom. So questioning is really important. So is listening.
Yes, absolutely. Questioning, I talk to my children all the time about that and clients, oh, they said this and what did you say? And often they'll say, I said this, and then, you know, because everyone is so politically correct now, everyone tries to be too nice, I think. And sometimes, they go, oh, I didn't say anything because I didn't want to hurt their feelings. I said, but now the relationship's all weird and wonky, and it might not ever go back to being good because there was not enough questions or communication about the problem. Does you know what I mean?
And the communication might not have been effective. It might
Yeah.
have just been, did you say this? And your answer might have been, yes. But the follow-up question might be, why did you say that? In what context did you say that? What was the intention behind you saying that? So then you're digging a little deeper because a lot of people will just sit on the surface. Yes, I said this, and they go, well, screw you, I'm out of here. Whereas if
Yeah.
they go, but why? What made you say that? What was the intention behind it? You can then understand the perspective, because perception and perspective come together. What the perspective was of that person's information when they delivered it to whoever it might have been.
Yes.
So, yeah, listening, body language, all of that sort of stuff is needed when assumptions are and perceptions are in play.
Absolutely.
How many times have you had a conversation with somebody and you've walked away feeling much lighter because you've got the clarity of the information? It's like, well, she didn't really say it like that. And I believe her. And that's where you've got to trust your intuition too. I believe what
Yes.
she's saying to me because if somebody's going to lie to you, you're going to feel it. They're going to trip up.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you trust them, you go, I get it. And then what actually happens sometimes is the relationship becomes stronger because it's
Yeah.
more open. It's more, we've got that dialogue that's now open to channel so that we can sort of say, hey, I don't like the way you say that about me or whatever. Could you change that? Sure, sorry, I didn't realize I was doing it. It's
Mm.
really interesting.
And I think also it's okay to send text messages. But I feel like if it's something a little sticky, you need to be very careful about how you word things. If I have to talk to someone about a situation, I would rather FaceTime them so they can see my face and how I'm saying it than them to read the text message the wrong way and
Totally
assume,
agree, Joe, because the text is two-dimensional. They're not picking up the inflection. Was it said as a joke? They're not picking up, was it said with anger? We're not giving them that ability to read. They're thinking, what the hell's going on here? But when you
yeah,
FaceTime, they can see you've got a smile on your face, you're joking, you're
yeah,
jovial. Yeah. Or I'm really angry at you because you did this, rah, 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 rah. So they can say, oh, okay, pull it back a minute. Let's have a
mm,
discussion. Let's go. So I think, yeah, texting is not the best because it's very linear, it's two-dimensional. There's no mood associated with that.
yeah. Mm. And I think it's also hard. People need to not ghost people in terms of, they need to be upfront and say, oh, it's not, and there's that old cliche, it's not you, it's me. But it's better for particularly a lady when a man's just stopped talking, texting them or talking to them, just to say, look, I've had really bad relationship in the past and I'm being triggered and I just need to process that for a little bit.
And that's honesty. And then that
Yeah.
person can go away thinking, well, I haven't done anything wrong in as much as I'm just being me. But what I'm being is honest and authentic, but it's triggering this person to make them, think twice about it. So this is where a lot of people want closure. And this is
Yeah.
why there's a lot of assumptions with relationships or perceptions, or he didn't love you, didn't care about you, rah, rah, rah. And that's why, you've really got to have a dialogue where possible. And some people won't give you that, Joe. Some people will just ghost you and just cut you off. And it's just like, what was that? What
Mm.
actually happened there? And that's where you've got to send them with love and think, okay, if you're not going to allow me that closure, I'll send you with love so that, I've got the best intentions for you, but it's not working out for us. See you later. You go do
Yeah.
you and I'll just do me. It's a really interesting world we live in because of the the phones and the ease of communication through Messenger or text message, it takes out that I've got to see you face to face. And I think a lot
Yes.
of people take that as the easy option. I'll just message you, send you a text. And it's just like, it's very impersonal. It's not the
Yes.
best way to do it.
Not at all. And I think, when I last dated, it sounds really funny, but we dated and there was a telephone and it was a slower process.
Yes.
So you kind of didn't make an assumption really quick because you go, oh, I've only met them once. But when now you might meet someone and then you might send 100 text messages backwards and forwards, and you've kind of, I feel like it's not the true you. Like, does that make sense? I think there should
Yes,
be,
because no, but I agree, Joe, because they're hiding behind a text message.
yeah,
Okay. Whereas if you think, I say to people, now, you've sent a message, but would you have said that over the phone? Would you have opened
yes,
yourself up that quickly over the phone? Would you have made yourself that vulnerable over the phone if you had to say those words? And they go, well, maybe not. So it's like, well, why is it okay as a text? And the
mm,
intention usually will be because I'll just see what they come back with. And if not, I'll just delete the message and I'll ghost them. And it's like,
mm,
yeah, no, it's not the best way of doing it because you're playing with people's emotions too. And that,
mm,
as you said, Joe, some people might get triggered by a conversation or whatever that might be. And if you're not giving them that honesty and that ability to have a communication through voice and, chat, FaceTime, in person, whatever, on a telephone, they don't get that closure. So it's like, what did I do? And then that sometimes emotionally blocks them from wanting to go and try something else with somebody else. If I'm
mm,
doing things wrong, I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to be that person. Sometimes maybe it's just better for me to be me and just do me. So we
yeah,
can't assume, we can't have perception because it's not real. That's the thing. It's not evidence. Assumptions, perceptions are not evidence. That's what the Course
no,
in Miracles tells us. You must then go. If you've got an assumption or a perception, you must go and get the evidence to either back it up so then it becomes reality or it's dismissed straight away because there's no evidence behind it.
yes,
Uh,
absolutely.
we got taught
You
at
know,
school, Joe, assume, us in you, don't make an us out of you and me in the
yes,
word. And I
yes,
live by that because you make an assumption, if you're not backing it up with evidence, and that could be evidence from the horse's mouth, you got nothing really.
yeah,
So don't
absolutely.
play that game.
And even with Elliot, if we're doing something, I'll say to him, how do you see this working? Or what's your vision for it? Only because Elliot and we're from different planets when I'm a high-end luxe girl.
Yeah.
Elliot's, let's just make it functional.
Yeah. And see, that's the difference. And see,
Yeah,
we're not assuming that this is where we want to be. You've got to bring in both parties so that there's a happy medium that you both attain to. And then, yeah,
yeah,
we can make it happen.
yeah. So, and we never had really big fights in our marriage, but I remember thinking, oh, we're so different. We need to make sure, especially when we're business partners, what's your thoughts on this?
Yes.
You know?
And that's the key.
So,
But that's, see, communication, Joe. How do you
yeah,
feel about this? What are your thoughts on this? How would it look for you if we were to do this?
yeah,
And that dialogue's just opened up between you. So then you can say, okay, I see your vision. How about if we took it up a notch? Because you like deluxe. How about if we took it up a notch and just did this and this? So we've got your aesthetic, please, but I want to just do this with it. Yeah, great. And then see, there's no assumptions then. It's like I'm creating a dialogue between the two people, you and Elliot.
yeah.
You've both got an opportunity to speak and say, yep, like it. No, don't like it.
Yes. So I think it's just about, marriages can end pretty quickly or relationships because of the assumptions, And so now, eh, and this can happen a lot, and I talk about this in people's marriages. I go, he's not cheap. It's just that he was brought up differently. And I said, you're thinking he didn't buy me these big flowers because of what you assumed, because um his mum or his dad didn't do that for his mum. So
Yes,
therefore, a bunch of carnations is what you're going to get.
yes,
Does, where you're assuming that you want these big bunch of roses. So I think sometimes disappointment can happen, but it's because you've set each other up to fail because of the assumption of it all. Does that make
yes.
sense?
And yeah, I agree. And other people, if they don't know the person, they don't know what their value systems are.
Mm,
So, if it's a case of somebody buying you flowers and they don't like roses, but they're making an assumption that's the king of your flowers, don't make an assumptions about what people see as value because they might prefer instead of getting you a bunch of flowers, "Oh, let's go for dinner. I could have you for
mm.
3 hours. We just talk, 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 talk." That's
Yeah,
where people see value. So, yeah, you can't make assumptions or presumptions about
yeah,
what a person's value system is because everybody is different. Where people see value in life, it's different for everybody. Some people might
yeah.
want the glitzy car. I'd rather go and have a holiday to make memories than the glitzy car. Do you know what I
Oh, me
mean?
too.
And everybody's different.
Yes.
So you can't assume, you can't make presumptions. And you see these people. I do it all the time, and I'm trying not to judge people, and I don't. But you see the people driving Ferraris and Porsche SUVs and all that sort of stuff, and you think, wow. How do they afford that? But then it might be on hire purchase, or it might be they want Tats Lotto. They've paid cash for it. Good luck to them. It's not for us to know. It's not for us to really care about. But let's not make an assumption about what they do, how they do, and just like if that makes you happy, go for it.
Absolutely. And sometimes I think it's also, um, I do ask lots of questions with friends and things because I go, how do you see it playing out? Like, because I think we can, and especially, when I'm helping others in a one-to-one thing, because I go, and she'll say, you didn't even get me a card. And I go, but if he didn't see that in his childhood, that his dad did that for his mum, he just assumes that that's not important because that's what he's seen, kind of thing. So it's also your job to tell him when you're new in the relationship, this is how I like to be loved. This is my love language. Does that make sense? I said,
I
so
agree
sometimes,
100%. If you're not
yeah,
receiving it, you need to be able to have that communication that says, you know what, I would expect on a celebratory day, birthday, Valentine's Day, Christmas, I would expect the minimum of a card from you.
yeah,
That way you've put in the expectation. So then that way the prospective partner knows, okay, well, she likes a card. I've got to get her a card. If she likes a card, she might like a little gift. You can't just sit there and say nothing and be disappointed. That there's an opportunity for you there or that person there to go and communicate. That's like, if it's my birthday, I would like from you at least a card.
yeah.
Just
And
words, write with your pen words. So then that way I know how you feel about me.
absolutely. And I say to my kids even, I don't necessarily need a prezi at Christmas time, but I do need you to buy me a lovely card.
Yes. Yes, a lot of
So
people keep those cards. A lot of people
I
keep them and they
do.
cherish the words on them. So there is power in words. And that's
Mm,
why if it's not being done, if it's not being met, a conversation needs to be had about, okay, what are we doing for birthdays? And this is how I generally would say, what are we doing for birthdays? Because, sometimes if we need things, we just go and buy them for ourselves at whatever time
yeah,
we need them. So we don't need a gift, but I would like a card from you. That way you've set an expectation and the other person might go, yep, that's perfect for me because then whatever money we save on gifts, we can go and have dinner or something special. Have a general conversation. What is your expectation here? What is your expectation here? How do we marry the two?
yeah. Absolutely. And I think it's just important. Like my girlfriend goes, oh, my husband likes to do energetic stuff for his birthday, and I don't want to do that. And I go, well, it's just once a year. She's like, he
Yes,
wants to climb the Harbour Bridge though. I don't want to do that. And I went, well, it's in August, so start getting on walking now so you can do
yes,
it.
yes.
And I said, so
Imagine
it's
how
his,
excited he would be
yeah,
to have you with him experiencing that. That's what she's got to realize. He
yes,
wants to do
yes,
it, but he wants to do it with you so that you've got this memory to share. So, that's why Sean and I will often say, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And we'll go and do it. And it might be for me, he likes the theatre, the musical theatre, and I don't. But I'll go because he might want me there. And then sometimes we'll say, I'd actually prefer it if you don't come because you criticize it too much. It's like, okay, that's fine. But there's that ability that he says, let's go to this one together. And we will, and we'll go and enjoy it. So
yeah,
yeah, sometimes it's not about what you want, it's about what the other person's expectation might be
yes,
to, fulfill that for them. Okay, that's
Mm.
that's also a love language. I just want to spend time with you, but I want to do it in something that I might like. Yep, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because then the flip side comes, I might want to do it how I like, and then you've got to do that with me.
Yes. Mm. So yes, I think it's all about asking more questions, but it's also when it is their birthday, it is actually their day that you have to, it inspired us because I was like to the kids, we should do that at the end of the year. Like the four of us go, and that can be a part of our gifts, like at Christmas time.
Yeah,
So Lex was like, "Oh yeah, I love that," and Eli's like he wasn't really keen about the idea.
not on board.
But I was like, oh, it'd be funny. Like, I said, you don't have to do it, but I think it'd be, I said, I would really love a picture of the four of us on top of,
Yes, the
the
bridge.
harbour. And then to me, I was like, oh God, I better get myself a little fit because I don't want to be the behind going, oh my God, I can't breathe.
Of course.
So,
But see, with something like that, there's lead time. So it's not
yeah,
as if tomorrow we're going to go and do this and then you're in fear or worry or concern. It's like you've got time to understand, okay, I'm going to do that. I've got time to get myself fit, got time to get some energy or whatever I have to be. And if you've got a scared of heights, how do I do this? And these people, it's questioning. If you've got that concern that she doesn't like your friend doesn't like doing the activities, go and reach out to the Sydney Harbour Bridge people, hypothetically. How hard is it? What do I have to do? I'm nervous. So that she can
yes,
actually calm herself down. Her assumptions about how hard it's going to be might be negated straight away. And it's like,
yeah.
let's go and have some fun with this.
Yeah. And there's lots of things. Like, at my party, one of my friends that is a great friend couldn't make it and she messaged me in the afternoon, right? So then one of my other friends went, "Oh, she didn't come." And I said, "Yeah, but instead of when she messaged me, I messaged straight back and went, 'Are you okay?' And she was like, "Yeah, I've had a really bad moment this morning." And she said, I love you, but I can't be with everyone."
Yeah.
And so she said, "Can we catch up for a quiet, now for her quiet thing is like I'll meet her down at the Bellow River and she'll make a slice and have a thermos full of lovely tea, and that's what she's capable of." It didn't
Yeah.
mean that she didn't love me or didn't want
No,
to hang out with me, but my perception of her having a birthday party would be way overwhelming for her. Does that make sense?
of
She's not a
course.
rah-rah. But
Yeah.
the other friend was like, "Oh, she didn't even turn up." And I went, "But hang on a minute.
Yeah.
You can't assume from your perception that it's
Didn't
not
care
about
enough
me."
not to come. She didn't
Yeah,
care enough not to come. No, she cared. And the good thing was you dug a little bit deeper. Are
yeah,
you okay? And then
yeah,
that opened up a dialogue so that you understood that, she's had a situation, she's got to process that, and being in the
yeah.
party is not going to allow her to process it too well. Let's do this another day. That's all it
Mm,
has to be. So that's the key, guys. If you're feeling like you're assuming things about people or,
yes,
you've got perceptions that this person doesn't like me, you really need to start a dialogue with that person or the situation so that you can understand what's actually going on here. It
mm,
might be because they might be jealous of you or have got they might have perceptions about you that are not real either. This is the
yes,
thing. People carry perceptions and it creates animosity between them, but they've forgotten to have that dialogue to actually clear that air. I heard you said this. No, I didn't say that at all. Such and such made that up. Do you know what I mean? It clears the air. So if you're assuming things about people or situations, or you've got preconceived perceptions about them, start a dialogue with that situation, person, whatever, to clear that air. Get your
yes,
evidence
very much
because
so.
it's not true until you've got your evidence. And when you've got your evidence, that's when you can make decisions about how do I need to proceed with this. If you've got no evidence, throw it out. Don't waste your energy on it. Don't give it energy. Get rid of it
Yeah,
because you'd be surprised how much energy this takes up for people. Assumptions,
very
perceptions,
much.
because they worry about them all the time. Don't waste your energy on stuff you can't change.
No. And often it's their perceived standards of living or
Yeah,
their examples that they've had previously in their life that's why they act or do or want to do it that way. And it's just we've all been brought up differently.
correct.
So, and we don't factor that in. We take it personally instantly.
And I think the key there is just accept. Have acceptance
Yeah.
of who people are for what they are.
Yes.
Not what they can give you, not what they can bring you. Just give that acceptance of this is that person, and I accept them for being who they are and how they are. That's it.
Mm.
Without
Mm.
any expectation of something in return.
Absolutely. So yes, I think it's just like the world is beautiful because we all have different standards and beliefs and everything. But I think when you get offended by something or someone, you need to then ask more questions.
Agree. Dig a little deeper. And not
Yeah.
just general questions. Sometimes they might be direct. Did you say that? Yes
Yes.
or no? If it's a yes, why did you say that? Okay.
Yeah.
What was your intention in saying that? That way,
Mm.
it's not argumentative, but you're getting to the source of the issue and you can get to it quicker. Where it's just like, "Oh, I heard somebody said this," without going directly to the person. And it's just like, you're going
Yeah.
to go nowhere fast and you're going to create more problems because then
Yes.
people have a perception that you're digging for information or you're planting seeds. Just go direct, have a conversation, and listen as well. If you're asking a question, seriously, you've got to listen to what the response is.
Yeah.
Listening with your eyes, looking at the body language, listening with your ears to what they're saying, and the
Yes.
inflection with what they're saying. Because if you're going to talk, but you're not giving them the opportunity to talk back, don't waste your time.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. And I think it's, that's our policy at work. If you have a problem or there's something not working for you, come to Elliot and I because we're really the only ones that can fix it for you.
Yes.
Like nattering to all the other practitioners is not going to help you. It's just going to then cause unease. You know, the other day, one of the practitioners went, I try to avoid them because it's like they just want to cause trouble, you know?
Yeah. It creates an uneasiness in the workplace. But
Yes.
stuff like that could be nipped in the bud if they
Yeah.
just come to, like yourself, you're the owner of the business or the manager of the department, whoever. I'm not
Mm.
happy with this because of X, Y, and Z. And it's like, well, it has to be that way because of X, Y, and Z. And then they have an
Yeah.
understanding of why things are the way they are. It's like, you know what? We're in the process of changing it and we're going to do what you suggested.
Yeah.
Please, the yes straight away. And then people
Absolutely.
have an
I'm really quick with
understanding.
that. Yeah, because I want the vibration of the clinic to be really high.
Yes.
And you've just got to kind of go, hey, I could, and I'm always very quick to not assume with the tone that the person told me that in was correct
Yeah.
because then you're going in at the wrong tone. So I go, hey, and I'm really open. I heard that you're not happy with this. Talk to me about that.
Yeah.
What's your perception? And
Good.
then she'll go, oh no, I didn't mean that. I went, that it's totally cool if you do. I can't fix it if I don't know. And
Correct.
then when I chatted to her, she was like, oh no, I didn't mean that at all. So
And
do
so
you see
that's
what I'm
it.
saying?
Give them an opportunity. Give people an opportunity to
Yes.
express. And
Yeah.
then when you've got the evidence that you need, then you can then deal with it. It's like, yep, we can put that into place. Or, yep, I
Yeah.
understand you now. I'm sorry if I created any issues for you, whatever it
Yeah.
might be.
And
And that's the
95%
key.
of the time I go, great idea. Oh my gosh, I didn't see it that way. I love your angle.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
yeah,
Love
yeah.
it.
So yeah. So it's just about, especially this year, because the energy is fast paced this year. It's going to move quickly. The aim, I think, of the universal healers is to move density from the earth.
Yeah,
So things we're going to be, even the balanced person is going to be scurrying a little bit to keep up with the
yeah,
fluxes of energy. So that's where when you're exhausted and all that, where you can assume poorly. And so
correct.
that's where you got to ask lots of questions. Hey, it might have been because I was tired that day and in my eyes, I saw it this way, but is that correct?
That's it. And then
Yeah.
and that was a nice open question, because you're giving them an opportunity to go, well, you know what? It was. I said it was this way, whatever it might have been. And then that way they've got a response. They can respond to you. And you've done it in a really nice way that they feel safe and they can
Yeah.
express themselves without any retribution or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And everyone's different. Like, your life is really different to mine because, like, it's just you and Sean, and that's what you've chosen. Like, that's good. My life is different because I've got kids. So
Yeah.
my standards sometimes can be less because I'm on the fly trying to juggle four or three other
Yeah.
people.
Multiple things at one, plus a
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. And then so sometimes it's like, I watch my friends who have no children and I kind of go, well, I can't do that standards because it's just not possible.
Yeah.
Or I'm not worried about that stuff because I've got to worry about other things in my
Correct. Your
life. And
priorities
it's
are different.
yes. So sometimes you can go, like my girlfriend was like the other day, oh, when I have them over for dinner, I do all these good things and I go and make sure I pick the best bowl of wine, da, 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 da. And, and when I go to her house, I think half of it was takeaway, Joe. And I went, time out now. I said, she's got 5 kids. So for her to get you to come over for dinner, her house would have had to have a very big overhaul for her to have
Correct.
friends over to start
Correct.
with. And I
Correct.
said, she doesn't have the surplus money that you have to have this big fancy bottle of wine. You probably got SodaStream mineral water. She goes, I did. And I said, you're taking this all wrong, sweets. Like if
Correct.
and
Because
I said, it's not that she doesn't care enough, it's just this is what she's capable of.
correct. And her perceptions, this woman's perceptions are judging. They've turned into judgment, not
Yeah,
understanding, like you've said, hey, she's got 5 kids. She's time poor. So to get the house clean for you coming over for dinner is a big thing. It probably took a lot of time. And then she probably realized, let's just do takeaway because I might not be able to cook as what I want to cook in the time that I've got. So let's just
yes,
make it easy for everyone and let's just do that. That's where
yeah.
there's
Well,
judgment, and she's got to lose the judgment.
absolutely. If I went to your house, you would have cooked the whole meal, you would have faffed about it all day. If you come to my house, I would be so grateful that the floors have no dog hair on them.
Yeah. But the thing is, with stuff like that, the key is having time with people.
Yes.
Like how much they've spent, it's not what they fed you. You could have fed me a
No.
meat pie, Joe, but if we had the best conversation, I'm loving it. I'm loving that
Yes.
energy. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Um, Lose the what did you feed me? What did I drink? What did it look like? Engage the, oh my God, we got to spend time together. How good was
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Like you said, with your friend that couldn't come to the party, she'll make me a slice, she'll get a thermos of tea, and we'll go and sit on the beach. Now, that's quality because it's
Yeah.
like she's just giving you time one on one, and she'll just do what she needs to do.
Yeah. I think we all bring it all back to ourselves and all that, and we really need to not do that
Yeah.
because everyone's standards, and we
Yeah.
assume that, and I just think in this day and age, we've just got to ask more questions or look at their life and know and see where their standards are and meet them there. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
exactly. Just have an understanding of where everybody's at because everybody's circumstances
Yeah.
are different. And people might not want to, they might feel embarrassed about explaining what their circumstances might be. So lose the judgment, just accept
Yeah.
whatever it is and have fun with it. So then that way it's easy for everybody because you can make people feel really uncomfortable if you're going out for a dinner party and they've cooked their heart out or they've gone to get takeaway and you look down at it. They feel that
Yeah.
energy because it just
Yeah.
drops. So just go with love and embrace whatever comes and think, wow, you spent a lot of time on me today, however that looks, cleaning,
Yes.
cooking, whatever. I'm loving it. I'm loving that energy.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So the takeaways from today would be if you're assuming things or you're having perceptions about things, go and investigate them, question it, have some quality time, and do it in a way that's not threatening. Okay. Can I have a chat with you, please? Or as you would with Joe. Hey, I heard you might have raised this. Do you want to have a chat about it? And then that way, you've opened up a safe space for people to have dialogue, to then question about what was said, why it was said, how it was said, if it was said, and then from there, you gather your evidence and you go, I'm just going to let it go, or, I'm going to deal with that, whatever it might be.
Mm.
Don't take these perceptions and assumptions as reality because until you investigate it, it's nothing.
Mm. Absolutely.
Now, Joe, what
Yeah.
classes have you got coming up, my love?
Oh yeah, on I've got an inner child workshop on February the 21st and 22nd. This is
Perfect.
really good for if you keep sabotaging relationships, you're assuming a lot and that's from your childhood. You're finding it hard to break into that next vibration or that next level that you're wanting to. Often it's your belief system from your children, which is from 0 to 21.
Yep.
So we reprogram your inner child, and you get meditations and morning tea and afternoon teas provided. You just need to bring your lunch, but it's a safe place for you to let go of things from your childhood that no longer serve you and that are probably holding you back, achieving what you're wanting to in this lifetime.
Fantastic. Okay, so how
Yeah.
did they book that, Joe?
That's a good question, Charles. You go to joanneplater.com.au and you can buy your seat there. Or if you want to pay cash, you can just duck into Alchemy and pay Kate or Elliot to be a part of the course and to hold your seat. It's only going to be a small class because I want to be able to hold people's energy
Yeah.
and cuddle them and look after them. So maybe literally, maybe just energetically. So yeah, so it's just like yeah, it's not going to be a big class, but it's a good way. It's like I feel like our inner children's belief system is like a invisible rubber band. So it will let you go so far in life, and then when that little inner child doesn't believe that you're worthy of the next thing, it's like you'll sabotage
Pulls you
yourself.
back.
So
Yeah.
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 So it's good to
Fantastic.
understand these things.
Oh, of course. Of course. If you have that
Mm.
understanding, you can then deal with it. So
Yes,
it's
correct. What
powerful.
about you, lovely?
I've got my tarot class on the 28th of February, held here at Atwood in Melbourne. So you bring your set of cards and I teach you how to read them. So you learn all 78 cards in the correct way and in their reversed way. And then you'll be
Love it.
reading for people and we provide morning tea and afternoon tea. We do lunch as well. So if you've got any dietary requirements, let me know. Yeah, so that's on Saturday, the 28th of February. Reach out if you're interested. I might still have a spot here or there, and we can make it happen for you. Otherwise, head to my website, www.amantimoon.com.au, and you can connect to me through there or even on my Instagram. Just DM me on that. That's probably quicker. And then we can go from there. All right. All right,
Perfect.
guys. Have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye, guys.